Hey guys, what is up? James Penrose here, back again for my second video here tonight on my channel. And obviously, if you saw my last video, we talked about The Undertaker's final farewell at Survivor Series and how I was kind of up and down about it, whether it was going to be or not. This time we're going to be talking about boxing once again. That's the main topic of video here on my channel. And it's a big fight coming December 19th at the Alamo Dome. But yes, believe it or not, we got Callum Smith defending his WBA Super and Rib Magazine Super Middleweight titles against probably arguably pound for pound #1 in the world right now, Canelo Alvarez. And this kind of took me by surprise. Obviously, for the last month and a half, we would be kind of going back and forth wondering who is Canelo Alvarez going to face next. Obviously, there was rumours that it could have been the Turkish guy, Yildirim, Evan Yildirim, I can't remember, isn't it? But that would have been a stinker. Canelo would have destroyed that guy easily. There was also talks of maybe facing Caleb Plant, which he would have given Canelo a good couple of rounds, but again, I just feel like it just would have been one side and then Canelo would have beaten him quite easily. But obviously, the two guys that were going back and forth on, one was WBO Super Middleweight Champion Billy Joe Saunders, which again would have been huge if we'd have brought that here to the UK, but obviously, during a pandemic, obviously, with no crowd, obviously, bags of money is going straight away, just like that, it's gone. But nevertheless, it would still draw big numbers on box office or wherever else it would be broadcast. And Billy Joe Saunders would have a real chance in that fight. Whether he'd knock Canelo out, I don't believe so. But from a boxing IQ and from just a boxing standpoint, he would have a real good chance to win that fight. But he didn't go with Billy Joe Saunders. We're going with Callum Smith, the WBA and Ring Magazine, in my opinion, the best super middleweight in the world right now. And boy, oh boy, does Callum Smith have a real chance in this fight. Not just from a boxing standpoint, but from a power perspective. Obviously, Callum Smith in 27 fights has 19 knockouts. I don't know how many first round knockouts he has. I believe 9 or 10 or something like that in the first round. And just seeing his progression throughout his career. Obviously, the big one was the fight against George Groves, which people had him losing that fight by quite a while, and on the judges' scorecard, which I might need to go back and watch that because I wasn't too sure about that at the time. But he knocked out George Groves in the 7th round. It was a big finish, and finally got his dream moment. And the way he throws his combinations, his punch selection is fantastic. His defense is great. His movement around the ring, actually, to be fair, his movement, he's not too, erratic. He doesn't go into flight mode. He kind of just stands his ground half the time. But he can move around. He can, counter punch. He's got a great left hook. He's got a great right hand. He throws all his punches with venom, with meaning. He doesn't just throw shots for the sake of throwing shots. That's the main thing. Throws with intention, to hurt and to, break his opponents down, dissect them. Start with the jab and then let the combinations flow. And obviously, his last fight with John Ryder, which a lot of people, believe it or not, actually had John Ryder winning that fight, believe it or not. And it echoes something Tony Bellew said, a while back. Just because someone's done better than you thought they did doesn't mean that they've won automatically, just off that logic. And in my opinion, yes, Callum Smith did win that fight. I mean, John Ryder win, and I don't buy it. It was a great effort. And actually, I think I heard that John Ryder actually might be fighting for the WBA regular title, I swear, against Chudinov, I believe. Which, if so, holy shit, hopefully John Ryder wins that. But with Callum Smith, man, he really has a real chance in this fight. Canelo, in terms of, fighting someone on form right now in the super middleweight division, fighting a proper, true super middleweight in his prime, who's #1 in that division, it's going to be a real test for him. But obviously, you look at Canelo Alvarez, man, and holy fucking shit, what a career he's had. And it's still ongoing now. A 4-weight world champion, and 5-0 against the Brits, believe it or not. Defeated Matthew Hatton on points, Ryan Rhodes in the 12th round, Amir Khan in 6th, one of the most brutal knockouts I've ever seen, and Callum's brother as well, believe it or not, Liam Smith in 9 rounds, and Liam Smith was a hell of an effort against Canelo Alvarez in that fight. Held his own until they got knocked out with a body shot, I believe it was, or something like that. And then obviously the easy one with Rocky Fielding. We're not going to talk about that. Rocky had no disrespect to Rocky Fielding, but let's be honest, did he have even 1% chance of winning that fight, guys? Come on, he had no chance. Obviously, it was courageous. He got a great amount of money to be there, and his dream came true, and I'm happy for that, but it was so one-sided, it was sad to watch at times. And, with his last couple of fights, obviously with Daniel Jacobs and him winning that and him knocking out Canelo Alvarez, and what seemed kind of like a stinker of a fight, but he found the answer when it mattered, and that's the thing. He always finds a way to win, obviously, and his only loss to Floyd Mayweather No shame in that whatsoever. No shame in that whatsoever. And obviously Floyd Mayweather laid down the foundation on how to beat Alvarez from a boxing standpoint. No one's ever laid down the foundation for how to properly hurt Alvarez and knock him out yet. No one's been able to do that. And Callum Smith has a chance to do that. Obviously, and see, it's annoying, man, because with these fights, it's one of those things where, do I predict with my head or my heart? Because you know what my heart says. You know what my heart wants. I want Callum Smith to beat all the odds and become a legend, honestly. If he wins this fight, he becomes a megastar up there with pound for pound, the best in the world, obviously. That's what this fight can do for him. Obviously, just taking the fight, it's doing great loads for him. He's getting bare peas to fight this, which obviously is kind of, you know, on the side note. But still, that's, you know, obviously, you know, you have to know what you're worth. And obviously, money is somewhat important. But in terms of legacy defining, in terms of going down as the best and being known in history, if he wins this fight, it's going to change his life forever. Professionally, personally, you name it. That's what my heart wants. My heart wants Callum Smith to win, but then obviously, it's what's in here. It's what's in there that's always taken over. And normally what's in here, a good 75% amount of the time, is right. And that is Canelo Alvarez is going to beat Callum Smith. Not easily. This could probably easily go 12 rounds. Maybe Smith could get knocked down at one point with a body shot. I mean, you saw what he did to Rocky Fielding. The body shots are lethal, man, even though Rocky Fielding was kind of just a sitting duck for Alvarez. But it's annoying, man. My head says Canelo, my heart says Callum, and it's just like, oh. Right now, I'm probably going to go with my head, yeah, because I am a realist, and that is Canelo Alvarez is going to beat Callum Smith, unfortunately. I don't think he'll knock Callum Smith out. Callum Smith has the ability to take a punch and, you know, weather a storm, and has bundles and bundles of heart, and it's going to be a great fight, man. And also, at the Alamo Dome, what the hell? Obviously, we recently saw Gervonta Davis and Santa Cruz headline at the Alamo Dome, which I thought was kind of pointless. I mean, again, during a pandemic, is there any point, you know, having it at a huge stadium? They somehow managed to get 9,000 in there, believe it or not. And I'm hearing that they probably could extend this, for this fight, extend it to maybe 20,000. What the hell? I mean, that is a mad thing right there. Literally 20,000 for this. It might not seem like much because the Alamo Dome is like, what, 60, 70,000? It might not seem like much, but again, COVID-19, restrictions and all that. So, considering all of that, it's huge. It is huge. So, other than that, guys, this has been my thoughts on Callum Smith versus Canelo Alvarez for the super middleweight world title. I don't know what's going to be on the undercard. Maybe John Ryder against Chudinov for the regular title. Maybe that could be on the undercard. Who knows? But it's going to be a great night. And in my next video, I'm going to be talking about the big one that's happening next Saturday night. Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. Ooh, exhibition. Never thought we'd see this. Vidal Riley's on that undercard. You got Jake Paul on the undercard against Nate Robinson. You got Badu Jack going on there, and I'm going to be talking about all of that in my next video, so stay tuned for that. So other than that, guys, thank you guys for watching this video. I'm James Penrose. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and all I can say is a peace out, my brothers.